Hey guys, and welcome to today's video. So first of all, thank you for bearing with me about Monday's video. For those of you that don't follow me on Snapchat and Twitter, I just wasn't feeling the video that I created for Monday, and I don't want to just upload to upload. I want to be proud of every upload that I put on my channel. So I was not able to upload on Monday, but we are back with a brand new video today. And in today's video, what I'm going to do is test a bunch of brand new drugstore makeup that literally just hit stores. I purchased all this makeup myself, and you'll be getting honest opinions from me as always. If you guys like these types of first impression videos of brand new drugstore makeup, definitely give it a thumbs up so that I know, and don't forget to click that subscribe button if you have not already, and join our drugstore family. And P.S. I know my face does not match my body at all. Wrong foundation shade of the foundation that I'm trying, but with that, let's go ahead and get right into the video. Okay, so first of all, just ignore how white my face looks right now. I have some self tanner on as well as a moisturizer with SPF in it, so it's leaving a major white cast on my face. But we're gonna ignore that and go right ahead in with the first product, and it is the Revlon PhotoReady Color Correcting Pen. So this is brand new from Revlon. I got mine in the shade green, which is supposed to counteract red. So the directions say to turn the base of the pen and then apply around the nose and on blemishes to conceal redness. And then it has one of those kind of brush tip applicators. So I'm just going to twist the bottom and go ahead and apply on the places where I have redness. I have a few breakouts right now because it is that time of the month. That's why I went with the green shade. I'm just gonna put this all over where I have like blemishes and discoloration from previous blemishes, and go ahead and push it in with my finger. The formula on this reminds me of the new Maybelline ones that are much thinner in consistency than their color correcting kits were. Those were really waxy, but their pens are really thin in consistency, and so is this one, which I definitely enjoy. But did it do a lot for the redness? I feel like right now it looks pretty counteracted, but we'll see once I apply my foundation on top. But before I do that, now that I look like I am completely seasick because I have like a green pale face, I'm gonna go ahead and go in with this. This is the Catrice Prime and Fine Instant Line Smoother. This is meant to be used, like it says, underneath the eyes just to smooth everything out. So I'm just gonna put it right up underneath my eyes. I'm not gonna use too much, and just blend it in with my finger. It feels really smoothing and like slippery. We'll have to see once I put the concealer on, but just on its own, I don't feel like it did much in terms of reducing the appearance of fine lines underneath my eyes. So we'll just have to see once I apply the concealer. But it is finally time for foundation, so I can not look so much like a green ghost. So for foundation, I'm gonna use this brand new Revlon PhotoReady Insta-Filter foundation. I ordered this online, so it went through a shipping cycle, but as you guys can see, it has kind of burst in the packaging. So this has less than 1 fluid ounce. It looks like a large foundation, but it does not have as much as the average foundation, which is about 1 fluid ounce typically, and it is definitely on the pricier side. So this is $17.99, so I'm going into it kind of jaded already because that's a really high price for a foundation. So I'm gonna be applying it on one side with my new e.l.f. highlighting sponge that I love, and then on the other side I'm gonna use this Morphe M439. And quick side note here, Morphe is now coming to Ulta. I mentioned this on Twitter and asked you guys if you would be interested in seeing more Morphe products on my channel. I don't personally consider them drugstore, but I know they are a lot more affordable than the high-end brand, so let me know down in the comments what your feelings are on seeing more Morphe products, Morphe comparisons here on my channel. But anyway, like I said, I'm using one side of my face with a sponge, the other side with a brush to see if there's a difference in application. So this does come in 10 shades, and I got the shade 240 medium beige. So again, this was an online purchase, so we'll see how closely this matches me. Do I twist it or just go, yep, you just go right on in. Or maybe you just twist it. Yeah, okay, you do twist this up. And then just kind of push it onto your face. Maybe it's just not coming up because so much of it already came out in the explosion. And by the way, this shade is super, super cool. It looks very pink on me. Unless I'm doing something wrong, this is like really difficult. I'm just gonna start blending because this is becoming a mess. So I'm gonna go in with the sponge on this side of my face. Okay, I don't love the applicator. This isn't the perfect shade, but this finish is really beautiful on the side with the sponge. It looks like natural skin. Let's see how it blends out with the brush on this side. Okay, so I feel like both because I'm using a brush on this side and because the product was sitting there for too long and it kind of set already, I do not like the side with the brush nearly as much. The side with the sponge looks flawless, but the side with the brush looks a lot more textured. So I'm going to go back in with a tiny bit more product and smooth it out with the sponge. And I'm just blending out my trusty Maybelline Fit Me concealer to see if that Catrice Prime and Fine under eye smoother did anything to make my concealer go on better than usual. So I don't feel like it made a big difference underneath my eyes. In fact, I think it might look a little bit cakier with that extra layer of product. The under eye area is such a thin area that I feel like the less products the better. But the foundation is looking pretty good. I definitely need to bronze up and it needs to be set. I can tell that it's not going to set on its own, so I'm definitely going to need to use a setting powder, especially with my oily skin. So to set everything, I'm going to be using my Rimmel Stay Matte Powder and just set my whole face and under eyes. All right, I'm going to bronze up with this Ulta Matte Bronzer, try and match my body a little bit better, and a little bit of this Pixi blush in the shade Beach Rose. All right, next up I have a new highlighter from L'Oreal. This is the L'Oreal Infallible Galaxy Stick. So these are supposed to be like glowy holographic highlighters. I got mine in the shade Galaxy Gold. So just a quick swatch here. Looks very pinky, which I wouldn't have expected for a Galaxy Gold color. All right, so to be on the safe side, I'm gonna go in with my finger and highlight the high points of my face by just tapping this on. So definitely a very noticeable holographic highlighter. Not my cup of tea, but as a product, it says what it's going to do, and that's all you can really ask for. All right, so obviously I already have my brows filled in, but I'm gonna set them with this new Revlon ColorStay Brow Mousse. I was really intrigued by this because I've never actually tried a brow mousse. I got mine in the shade Dark Brown. So it has a little spoolie on one end. On the other side, it looks like you're supposed to twist it. So it says instructions, gently twist the base of the pen to propel the formula into both sides of the brush, and then brush mousse over brows to tame and tint. All right, so I'm just gonna comb through my brows. I don't feel like anything's really being applied. You twist a little bit more. All right, here comes more product. So this application method is a little bit messier because you've got the product coming out both sides of the spoolie. Unless you're rotating the spoolie, you've just kind of got product on the other side falling out, but it definitely seems to be darkening my brows and pushing them into place. So we'll see if they stay put throughout the day. All right, next up is another Revlon product. Revlon just launched, bam, 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 a bunch of new products. This one is the Revlon Eyeshadow Primer. It's in the shade 100, which is universal. And this is supposed to give your eyeshadow staying power. It says to apply a small amount of primer over lids before applying eyeshadow for crease-proof extended wear. It's a little squeeze tube applicator, so I'm just gonna squeeze some out onto my finger. All right, and it looks like it's tinted. It's definitely a moussey texture. I'm just putting it on each ring finger so that I can apply just a little bit to each eye. Okay, so it looks like it's gonna be tinted, but it's actually not. It goes on clear to the actual lid. And it feels like a very silky, spreadable consistency, and now I can feel it starting to dry down to a tacky finish. And instead of putting it on both eyes, actually, I'm just gonna put it on this eye, and we're gonna do the same eyeshadow look on both eyes. And at the end of the day, we'll see if the side with the primer held up any better. I'm just gonna do a simple look for eyeshadow. I'm gonna be using this Rimmel Magnif'Eyes eyeshadow palette in the shade London Nudes Calling. I haven't used this in a while, and I saw it in my collection, and I thought, why not? I'm actually gonna take a little bit of that bronzer that I used and also pop that in the crease, just because this palette doesn't have a whole lot of matte shades. And for the lid, I'm gonna go in with this pink shimmer shade all over the lid on this Eco Tools dual-sided brush. First on the side with the primer, and then on the other side of the brush, I'm gonna go in on the side without the primer. Not a huge difference in terms of application. This eyeshadow is going on pretty pigmented to both sides. And now I'm gonna take this dark brown shade right here and just kind of define the outer corner in the crease a little bit more. Now I'm gonna take this pencil brush from AOA Studio and this third lightest shade right here and pop this in my inner corners and my brow bone. And then take this kind of bronzy shade up underneath my lash line. All right, and I wanna keep this look nice and light today, so I'm gonna go ahead and just go straight in with the mascara. And I have two different things to test. So first I have the Maybelline Colossal Big Shot primer. And then I have the brand new CoverGirl Peacock Flare Mascara. So what I'm going to do is apply this primer to one eye and then apply this to both eyes so we can see if this makes any difference and test out the new mascara. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and apply the primer on our experiment eye, which is this right one. This is what the wand looks like. Go ahead and apply. Sort of applying like a mascara would. I'm going to apply it to my lower lash line as well. So I feel like that darkened my lashes and helped curl them. So this is with primer, without primer. And now let's go ahead and go in with this Peacock Flare Mascara by CoverGirl. I got mine in the shade Extreme Black. It has kind of like a rubbery grip to it. Short bristles, looks like it's going to be really great for volume. So I'm going to go ahead and apply on this eye. Holy crap, yeah. Major volume going on, but definitely clumpy. Okay, so very clumpy, but also very, very full lashes on this side. So I'm curious to see how it performs without the primer, if the primer is causing the clumpiness or if it's going to be even more clumpy without the primer. So let's go ahead and do my left eye. So I feel like the side without the primer doesn't look as bam. I feel like the primer definitely amped up this mascara, but the side without the primer to me looks a lot less clumpy. Let me know in the comments which side you guys think looks better or if you see a difference at all. All right, and then last up we have this brand new Revlon Kiss Plumping Lip Cream. I have mine in the shade 510, which is Nude Honey. So let's go ahead and apply. This is a little squeeze tube applicator again. I love this color. I'm gonna grab a little bit of lip liner because it is so light. This is Wet n Wild Bear to Comment. I love this color. It's definitely sheer. You have to build it up, and I am feeling the cooling sensation already. It's nothing overwhelming, but I definitely feel it. All right, so I'm gonna wear this throughout the rest of the day, keep track of how everything on my face, all the new products wore, and be back to give you an update as well as my final thoughts. Hey guys, so I am back. It is now the end of the day, and let's go ahead and show you guys a close-up of how everything is looking right now. Obviously, the most notable thing is that I am very shiny. So the first thing I wanna do is go ahead and blot with these NYX blotting papers, and just go ahead and see how this foundation would look had I been blotting throughout the day, because obviously I would have been doing that with a foundation that doesn't claim to control oil, which this one does not. It just claims that it'll last all day. Okay, so after blotting without all of those oils on my face, this is looking really, really cakey, unfortunately, around my nose area especially. I'll give you guys another close-up. So let's go ahead and get right into my final thoughts, again starting with this foundation. So setting aside the way that it wore throughout the day, when I first applied this, I absolutely loved the way that it looked when applied with a sponge. It looked like a natural, gorgeous, gorgeous finish on the face. It blended beautifully. It felt really nice. It gave me a perfect medium coverage, which is the coverage that I personally prefer. I think on my cheek area, this has worn beautifully, but in the places where I got oily, it's definitely broken down and become cakey looking. The other thing that I'll say about this foundation is I do not like the applicator. I don't like the way that this product dispenses. I personally found it really difficult, not very user-friendly. And then lastly, I have to mention the price point. This is a very high price point, and unless I absolutely loved it, I wasn't going to recommend it to you guys. So even though I loved it at first, because of the way it wore, because of the packaging and the price point, I'm not going to recommend it to you guys. Alright, next up was this Revlon PhotoReady Color Correcting Pen. I did like this pen. I really like the applicator. I think it did its job. So overall, I would recommend this one alongside the Maybelline Master Camo. I think they're both good color correcting pen options. I wouldn't say I like one over the other. Next up was this Catrice Prime and Fine Instant Line Smoother. As I said when I was applying my concealer, I find that the under eye area is so thin that the less products you put on it, the better, and unfortunately this proved that right. I thought my concealer looked a little cakier than it typically does because it had this lying underneath. So I personally wasn't a fan, at least first impression wise. I didn't think it did anything positive, and if anything, it made it look worse. Alright, next up is a product that I kind of changed my mind on throughout the day, and it was the L'Oreal Infallible Galaxy Stick. So I didn't really like it when I first applied it. It's not really my type of highlighter, but it is worn really nicely. I can still really see it on my cheeks, and it's not an overwhelming pink. It's just when it catches certain angles of the light, and especially because it was applied on top of a foundation that didn't wear super nicely, I'm impressed by the staying power of this, and the color, like I said, grew on me. Alright, next up is the Revlon ColorStay Brow Mousse. My brows have only moved slightly out of the position that I moved them in when I used this product. There was no bleeding, so overall I don't have any huge gripes with the formula. I don't think it's super long lasting, but I think it's a nice formula. The thing that I'm not sure I'm crazy about quite yet, maybe it needs to grow on me, is the application application method. This kind of twist up to get the brow product into the spoolie is a little bit weird to me. I personally prefer the traditional, almost like mascara, where you would dip the spoolie into the product and then apply. Because I find with an applicator like this, you can apply too little or too much way too easily. So maybe I need to get used to it, but first impression, I was not thrilled with this one. Alright, next up was the Revlon ColorStay eyeshadow primer. So I really do like the packaging on this one. I think it looks really simple, really sleek, and it applied nicely to the lid. That said, I don't really see a difference in the eyeshadows. Granted, I do really like the eyeshadow palette that I used, and it's not one that's going to crease easily, but between the two eyes, you guys can tell me if you see a difference. I don't personally feel like this made one eye look better than the other in terms of application or in terms of staying power. So for that reason, I wouldn't recommend this one either. I feel like I'm being really hard on these products, but you guys know I keep it real, I keep it honest, and I don't think that this really did anything to improve the longevity of my eyeshadow. Alright, next up were these two mascara products, a primer and a new mascara by CoverGirl. So the primer, as you guys saw, did a really good job of curling my lashes, of blackening my lashes, and I want to try pairing this with a few other mascaras before giving my final verdict, but with this mascara at least, I actually prefer it without the primer. I think this side looks better than this side, just with my personal preferences. And this mascara, I'm on the fence, but I think I really like it. This is not for those of you that like a super natural looking mascara whatsoever. This is going to give you clumpy volume, and some people will not like that. I personally don't mind the spider lash look because I don't have tons of lashes going on, so the more attention I can draw to them, the better. So I think it comes down to preference, but based off of mine, I do really like this. And then the last product is this Revlon Kiss Plumping Cream. This was probably my favorite Revlon product that I tried out of the collection. I feel like it was a really comfortable gloss. Obviously it's not on anymore, it didn't stay for very long, it didn't claim to, and I have yet to try a gloss that claims to be plumping that I feel like is actually plumping, but at least this one isn't super uncomfortable. Some of them, like the Soap and Glory one, feel really intensely like needles prickling on your lips. This one felt a little bit cooling, but nothing crazy. So I didn't notice any sort of plumping, but I think the shade was really beautiful, the formula is really beautiful, non-sticky yet pigmented, and I definitely will use this one again as well. So those are my final thoughts on everything. Let me know what you guys thought of all these products down in the comments below, and if there are any products you want me to try next, definitely let me know, and I will see you guys in my next video.